Best of r/Tales from Tech Support episode 71. Subscribe for edit videos daily. I was working at a site that had cubicles and sets of 6. Each set of 6 had a shared power source and breaker. The call came in. A printer was not working. It was a standard floor style multifunction printer. Big, bulky, nothing special. The user said that when they sent a print job they could hear the printer start to warm up and then click off. Walking through the steps I recreated the problem. Sure enough, when a print job was received the printer would power off completely without warning. Incidentally, I just happened to notice the 6 cubes next to me would also power off at the same time, and within seconds come back on. I tested the printer again, same thing. 6 cubes power off and then click, they would come back on. I tracked down where the breaker was. Can you guess where? In the cubicle with the person complaining that the printer was not working. Every time the power went out they would just flip the breaker back on. I looked under their desk and found a 1500 watt personal heater. I asked about it and she said that it gets cold in that corner of the building, so she got one for herself and the 5 other people in that block. They were pushing the power to its limits and the printer was pushing it over. She asked if a new network cable would help. I talked building management into adjusting the thermostat. Thank you. Next. Part 1. Part 2. TL. Doctor ongoing story about getting a digital weighing scale to work with a CRPPY piece of software. Today, oh it really is not working. $me. Obvious. $app admin 2. Slightly less useless than $app admin from part 2. $vendor app 2. More technically capable than $use Elsevier from part 2. $vendor app 3. Silent, not sure how capable. So, there's 2 people coming over from the manufacturer. They bring our scale back and they are going to update the firmware on the other scale we have to the latest version. This, they say, should take care of the issue. $me. Hi, I was told this morning you would be over today to test a few things. $vendor app 2. Yes, we have everything with us. Where can we connect things? $me. Right over here. I make sure the test workstation is powered on, and wait for it to log in. The service account can no longer log in. Someone changed the password between the previous test and today. Right, first have that one fixed. This is nicely prepared by my colleague, /s, after literally running to the people that handle credentials and passwords. Alas, I have no powers there. I come back, restart the workstation and I check if the scales are recognized as such. Yes, there's a custom serial port visible in Device Manager on COM4. $me. Sorry for making you wait. It is fixed now. You should be able to test. I leave the scene to put out other fires. 45 minutes later. $app admin 2. It is still not working. Can you install $terminal software on the machine so we can check? $me. Sure, I'll see what I can do. Downloading/installing software. $me. There you go. $vendor app 2. Something must be wrong with your machine. I cannot enter anything in the session from the keyboard. $me. This machine has been working fine otherwise, but I see you are using $other terminal software on your laptop. Is that freeware too? If so, why not install it instead? Downloading/installing software. $me. Can I hold your laptop for a moment? I dutifully go through each and every setting to make sure they are an exact match between systems. $me. There you go. He types a few commands. It now works in the exact same fashion as it does on his laptop. Low-level communication is working as designed then anyway. 45 minutes later. $vendor app 3 shows up, asking for a RS-232 gender changer. Apparently they cannot make this thing work with the USB port. Something goes wrong with the data coming in. $me. Can you show me what is going wrong then? $vendor app 3. If we have the application check the for data we get an error message. I walk over to have a look. Sure enough, it is giving the exact same error message it has been giving for the past few months. So all this testing, updating, revising from their end has done exactly nothing. Even more, it seems these 2 have not had any information from the previous $vendor rep. Now I am curious. This scale has a Type B USB port for connection to the host and several Type A ports for additional hardware to be connected. Then I see what they are going to try. They want to use a serial to USB converter cable from one of the hub ports on the scale back to the workstation on that RS-232 port. $VinDorep3. See, if I go to this menu here, I can set it to RS-232 for connection to the client. Yeah, client, not host, you fool. I have read the documentation on this hardware. That is not what those USB ports are for. $me. No, I don't have a gender changer. Please ask desktop support if they have one or even a regular RS-232 connection cable. Female. I walk away as I already know this is not going to fly. There's something more fundamentally broken. Most likely the communication protocol has changed in the 15 years between the previous model and this one. And so I wait for another chapter in this complete clusterfuck of a project. Lucky for me, I just need to make the software land on the system. I don't have to make it actually work. Thank you. Next. Working in K-12 public education oftentimes involves building or renovations of schools. I came from a background in casework and millwork and fine furniture and countless building projects. I like to watch over projects, making sure things are being done as they should, which I know has annoyed more than one construction manager. This story involves a brand new school being built. There are bi-weekly construction meetings and I am attending most of them. I document problems with technology and usually provide answers quickly on any questions that come up. The school is scheduled for open at the beginning of the next school year. It is winter and I notice that the computer lab has data jacks and power outlets roughed in at 48 above the finished floor. I scratch my head and investigate. The blueprints for all trades show these under the counter where a cable tray runs. I point this mistake out to the construction manager at a scheduled meeting, drag him and several others to see the problem and then follow up with written communication to the appropriate parties. While it is an unfortunate mistake, it should not be too hard to correct. Someone just needs to move some conduit and boxes. 2 weeks later at the next meeting, my problem is acknowledged by the appropriate trades and will be a priority, so progress overall is not slowed down. I again follow up with communication acknowledging their acknowledgement of the issue and their plan to correct it soon. Another 2 weeks and another progress meeting. This time I have to ask what is going on since drywall has now been installed and everything remains at the wrong height. There are surprising looks and fumbled words but the assurance that it will get fixed ASAP. As we progress through the spring and summer seasons, the problem remains the same with each trade completing their work. Electrical and data cables are pulled and terminated. Drywall is finished. Vinyl wall coverings and carpets are installed. Finally, the computer lab furniture including the counter with a cable tray underneath is installed. I continue to make and distribute written documentation and at every step and well as in-person discussions during the whole process. It's now less than a couple of weeks before we get the building turned over for the most part. We do a walkthrough with all parties including from the school. School is about a month away and they begin to prioritize what needs finishing and what can be completed after opening. I mean, who needs a gym when you have the whole outside to have pale recess? When we get to the computer lab, and the general contractor takes a bit of pride in having this virtually complete and says we can begin installing computers anytime we want. The newly hired principal notices point out the obvious problem in the room. Some construction folks ask if this is an issue and before I can say anything, the principal says it isn't. Someone else from school administration agrees. They sheepishly say how they wish this was caught sooner, thinking they will have to live with it. That is when I chime in and begin presenting all of my written communication along with notes about verbal discussions on site too. Needless to say, the lab was corrected but not before the start of school. They had to order new vinyl wall covering which didn't arrive very quickly. I know several trades work overtime to fix the mistake. Sadly, I have so many similar stories with school construction and renovation. Thank you. Next. Here is a tale about the fallout of me failing to follow the cardinal rule of not telling management that you can solve their problems with code. This started about 6 years ago. My team leader had me move off the level 1 help desk and start coding. I had proven that with time I could remove some burden from the team and my team lead wanted me to focus more on code than answering users' questions. The issue came up, even though my focus had shifted. Management still was measuring my worth by the number of tickets closed and was complaining about my low numbers. One day in an offhand remark, I suggested that I just wire my code into the help desk and have it create a closed ticket every time an actionable item occurred. No work would have to be done, just log a ticket and my name, that would be it. To my surprise, my team lead agreed, and I made the changes to the code. Each time something happened that a human used to do, an email was sent off to the help desk to create a closed ticket. I put this in around the end of October and promptly forgot about it. I had bigger fish to fry than my management's opinion of me. Then one day at the end of the next March, my supervisor paid me a visit. You see, my supervisor also managed the software that ran the help desk. He had run the reports for management and there was an issue. A normal employee in IT might close 500-600 tickets in that time frame. My code had logged over 6,000 tickets for me and another 3,000 for a coworker. I thought I would share some of the good fortune, and he was the contact for that process. So this destroyed the chart the report produced. It looked like the entire IT department was doing nothing next to the mountain of work that I had accomplished. I was told to reassign all of the tickets my code created to the service account and future tickets would be assigned to said fake user. That was a fun 48 hours of figuring out how to manipulate tickets via the API. Needless to say, management rarely comments about my work ethic. Jump forward to last June, my team lead is now my supervisor and my supervisor has retired. The company is talking about how we are going to move from the current help desk to an online SaaS product. Reviewing the tickets in the current system was part of that discussion. The code I manage was first, second and fifth place in the amount tickets created. I might have had an evil laugh at that. TL. Dr. OP makes the cardinal mistake of telling management he can solve issues with code. Team lead likes it and tells him to do that. Management does not like the numbers they are seeing. OP solves management issues with small shell script. A little too well. Thank you. Next. Short and slightly humorous story from just now. I work for a local office of a big point of sale company, supporting restaurants and bars with their POS systems. Manager from a local joint calls in. One of the servers had accidentally deleted one of the payments from a split check and they needed to recover the card number to close out the check. I'm me, Mod is the manager, and Lauren is the server, name changed. I'm on the phone with Mod directly, but Lauren is present. Me, that's fine sir, it happens. We just need to see if your company has granted you access to recover those numbers or if I need to. Proceeds to walk them through the appropriate reports to do so. Mod, yeah, I'm still not getting the full card number. Me, all good, I'll just need to use our remote access in that case. This takes a minute to log in. Lauren quietly in the background of the manager's office. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Me, you can tell her it's fine, we'll get it sorted in a minute. From previously working food service, I know how it can get hectic sometimes. Mod, I'm sorry Lauren, but he says you need to go stand in the corner. You're in timeout. Lauren, me, laughing loudly into the headset, probably audible on the other end. We usually have a solid and casual rapport with the people we support. Plus my managers are fairly lax as long as we resolve their issue. Mod, yup, support said, so you gotta do it. Lauren, okay. I then proceed to recover the card number for that half of the check and Mod was able to reapply the payment and close it. Me, okay, looks like you're good to go. Did you need help with anything else before I'll let you go? Mod, nope, I think we're good here. Thanks for the help. Me, great. Hope you have a great night, and you can tell Lauren she can come out of the corner now. Mod, Lauren, the nice man on the phone was able to take care of it this time, but I hope you learned your lesson. The poor girl actually went and stood in a corner of the kitchen while we were resolving this. It really wasn't a big deal at all, and quickly corrected, but still the funniest thing I've had come through my headset in a while. Thank you. Next. Background. Our office is not open on weekends but we check out our email during the weekend just to make sure nothing major happened. We also have an emergency ticket status that will page a tech on call in the event of a major meltdown. Some departments are open over the weekend. We have a piece of server hosted software that 2 departments share. Department 1, D1, is open on weekends. Department 2, D2, is closed. Story time. I walk in on Monday and pretty soon D2 is calling saying that their software has gone offline. They're a little anxious to get it back up but understand that we need to investigate. I log in and confirm that the server is up but the software is showing offline. Decided to restart services and log back in. Finally get an error from the software indicating an expired license. We have to involve a few groups so it took around an hour from report to resolution. Meanwhile D1, who was open all weekend, is yelling at everyone they can get a hold of that their software is down and was down all weekend, and are still complaining. I finally snap and ask, $me, well, who did you contact? D1, what? $me, when your software went offline late on Friday, who did you contact? D1, well, nobody. $me, exactly. We had the issue resolved within an hour of it being reported as offline by D2. If you had emailed someone or opened an emergency ticket we would have had it resolved within the hour. Now, I don't need to sit here and listen to this bullshit. You have no right to complain about response time to an outage you never reported. Why do end users assume that we will know that their obscure piece of software has gone offline without them reporting it? This is just the tip of the iceberg for this department. Thank you. Next. Hey all, first time posting here but I saw this sub and it reminded me of something that happened a few months back. I'm not really a tech support employee, I'm just a student with a dream of becoming a PC repair and assembly technician. But around the school I'm known for being able to diagnose technology issues regardless of the device just because of my broad range of experience. This happened 2 months ago at the beginning of December. The school provides students with a decent laptop. At least they were decent 3 years ago when we got them and it's kind of hard to mess anything up on the software side because of how restrictive the settings are. So imagine my shock when one day in history, when we're supposed to be taking notes on our laptops, the guy sitting to the right of me is having trouble getting his laptop to boot. At first I thought it was because it was low battery. The laptop refuses to boot and only gives a low battery indicator. I saw the screen out of the corner of my eye and thought this is what the error on the screen was for. But I looked over and saw a cascade of errors wash down the screen. He turns to me and asks if I have any idea what any of it means. Mostly it's just fill path not found but one thing stuck out to me. Operating system not found. Apostrophe. I tilted the corner of his laptop upwards and saw underneath the edge a giant gaping empty drive bay. I ask him where the thing that goes here is and he says, oh, it's in my locker. Apostrophe. He leaves and comes back holding the hard drive of his laptop. I watch as he slots it into the side of his laptop and press the power button, and it boots as well as a laptop from 2015 can. I have no idea how the drive wasn't damaged just rocking around in his locker.